Welcome everybody to another episode of Mastering the Life with yours truly, Stevie Jones. I am the National Director of Miss Supranational Trinidad and Tobago. And joining me for this sit down, this beautiful afternoon, right here in Trinidad and Tobago, is our delegate from Tobago. She is the naturally beautiful Moesha Bruce. Moesha, welcome, my love.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I am very good, excited to kind of dig into the life of Moesha a little bit and expose your life to your fans and your friends. Are you ready for it?
I am. Let's go.
Good. So before we get into the meat of today's live, tell us a little bit. Tell your people who are joining on this live, what's life in Tobago? Because a lot of us, we visit Tobago for leisure and for relaxation, but we don't live Tobago. We didn't born and bred in Tobago. What's life in Tobago like?
Well, it's very peaceful, very quiet, not necessarily slow pace, but it's very comforting in terms of the pace that we usually go at.
Right.
Since the whole pandemic, things have been very slow, unfortunately, which I think is across the board.
Yes.
But we still have that very friendly, family-oriented vibe happening here, regardless. We're still looking out for each other, trying to help each other as best as we can, considering the circumstances. So everything is good thus far.
Nice, good. And you, for the sake of the audience who have not yet gotten an inside look into your life, you are also at university. Yes? Tell us a little bit about that. What are some of your celebrations, your moments to celebrate, as well as some of your struggles, maybe?
Oh, child.
Spill the tea. Let me get my cup. Spill.
Well, I am a student at the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine campus, of course. I am currently in my final year of my bachelor's. I'm pursuing a BSc in agribusiness management. Prior to the pandemic, I used to stay at Milner Hall. It's now renamed to Freedom Hall.
Right.
In terms of some of the successes that I've had there, in terms of UE and being on Hall, I was the social media representative for the same Freedom Hall, and I was also awarded for best academic performance in my department, as well as my year, which would have been my year 2 for agribusiness management. So that's just some of the good things that came out of it. The hard work did pay off.
Fabulous.
The struggle never died. The struggle never ends. We are still here in this struggle, trying to get it together, because I have a final year project that I'm doing, and you know, life.
Yeah, that's life. #life.
That's the way to put it.
One of the reasons why I wanted to do this sit down and chat with you guys is ready to give to the audience and to the people who are not intimately involved in the process a little glimpse into the reality of your life. Because most people get to see the end result. They see the dress up and all the glitz and the glamour of it, but they hardly ever get to hear the stories of pain and strife and struggle and compromise and sacrifice. They don't get to hear it, neither do they see it. And sometimes when they do see it, they see when you break out with freckles on your with pimples on your face, or they see you and they say, well, no, she's on a beauty queen. But the truth is, before all of that, you're first human.
True.
And a great part of what we are trying to do, and I think one of the blessings of COVID, is that we have an opportunity, all of us, to really sit with our bare humanity and to take a look at it. Tell us, Moesha, a little bit about what's been that discovery process for you in terms of coming to terms with your own weaknesses, and how were you coping with it?
Okay. The best example I could give with this would be my final year project, right? This thing unveiled so many things about myself that I did not know existed. I thought that everything was prim and proper, shined and polished until I started this project. Because, you know, I was in Trinidad because of school, and then COVID happened. So we had to pack everything in a weekend, get everything together and ship back home. Everyone,
Right.
even the regional students, everyone had to leave. So we just uprooted and left.
Yeah.
So you leave being able to be independent. That's one thing that has to play into what I'm going to get into, right? You leave from being independent, having your own space, depending on yourself basically, for 2.5 years to now go back into family life and readjusting, I should say, into that whole spectrum.
Yes.
So now you're here. And you have to now readjust to the different people and different personalities and all these things are coming into this one place, and your focus is now on trying to succeed academically.
Sure.
So we now have everything virtually because we're here, and everything was virtual, and it was very difficult because usually I'm a very attentive person. I would be very participative in everything that I'm doing and whatsoever. But that changed. I was like, where's my drive? Why am I not feeling the urge to participate? Why am I not feeling the urge to be present? I would be there, but mentally, you're spaced out, you're zoned out. And it's like, what is happening right now? And then you have these deadlines coming up, and they are not slowing down. Like, these deadlines are coming up on you.
Yes.
And it's like, you want to be a perfectionist, but then you also have limited resources because you're home. I can't go to the library. I can't go out to the field. I can't go to the research centers. I can't do these things. So you now feel the pressure on you because it's like you have an expectation of yourself, and then to add, you have people having expectations, your close ones, not unnecessary, noises, but you have the close ones who you love dearly,
of course,
having this high expectation of you, and it's like, I have all of this to fulfill. Like, these little shoulders, yeah. And even though I'm 5'6", there's only so much I can carry here. And it was really a lot. I broke down a million times, and I had to reassure myself that not everything is going to go as you planned in your head.
Yes.
COVID taught me that it's not always going to go as you scripted, as you imagined, as you planned out. You always have to expect or leave room to facilitate the unexpected, which is what really happened with me. I had to realize that I can't get everything perfectly done. I had to realize that it's okay to cry for the love of God, because those tears are a lot. It's okay to have that moment of vulnerability and breakdown and just be raw with yourself. I had that moment when I realized, well, things were going to shamble, that things weren't balancing themselves. I'm not doing as best as I could have, but I understood my circumstances, and I had to reassure myself. So I think that was one of the most reawakening moments in my life.
Right.
Yeah.
So this sense of coming to your own awareness of the different facets of your integrated self, not just your intellectual self, but also your emotional self, your physiological, because you also have to pay attention to what your anatomy, your body is saying to you when you're under stress, and when you're under pressure. And so your body is reacting differently because maybe you're not sleeping well. So your body begins to ache, and you get headaches, and you're studying. So it's migraines, and it's everything else. How do you create some kind of tolerable synergy in your daily existence of Moesha?
I base it on spirituality. For me personally, that's my thing.
Yes.
So what I would do, I wake up in the morning, I say my prayers, of course, and I try to read from, I have a motivational book that I usually it's called Moments of Mindfulness. And what it does, it creates this aura of peace within you. And it's like, it gives you that woosa kind of moment before you start anything. So for me, that is what I start off with. And then I say what I'm grateful for. And I imagine what I want to do, envision what I want to do, and then go ahead as the day comes by. It may not go as planned, but at least I have accountability for it.
And it's your reference place.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. This may sound very corny, but when you said that, I know I personally call you Mo sometimes.
Yeah.
And so when you said moments of mindfulness,
You felt it?
I thought, okay, this is very Mo. It's
Yes,
moments
yeah.
of mindfulness. Okay, that was
It
very
felt right
corny.
in.
That was very corny, but that's okay.
Yes.
So you came into the pageant fully aware that you're in your final year at university. You live on separate islands. Well, not too far, but you know what I mean. You don't live really reachable at moment's notice, and all of your other commitments. So you came in, and I know, and just for the sake of your viewers, first of all, thank you for joining in, and thank you for supporting the franchise and supporting our Tobago girl. We're very grateful for your outpouring of love. So you came in with your maybe your own expectations, or maybe things that you did not expect. What are some of those things that you did not expect coming into Supra?
I was definitely going to address the ones I did not expect. I wasn't going with the expectations. I was going with what I did not expect.
Let's do it.
To be honest, so I've done pageants before, prior to this. And to me, every pageant is different. They all offer something that is unique to them.
Sure.
This one was very family oriented. And I realized that from the get-go, just from because what persons don't know, for those who are viewing, when we started the process of selecting girls, it was done virtually. We didn't have the opportunity to be physically amongst each other whatsoever. But we had a panel of judges on the screen. So, but there was this synchronized kind of vibe that was there, this very family-oriented thing that existed. And as we went further along, I realized that these people are genuine, like they care for our holistic development. It's not just about being able to smile and look pretty. It goes beyond that.
Yes.
Because Stephen over here loves to dig deep. He loves to get the raw you. And I was happy that I had that safe space to open up and genuinely, allow someone to come in, because I'm very, not close up, but it takes a while emotionally to open up. And he had that thing in him that he genuinely dig deep to see who I really was. So that was very different compared to the others that I've, done before.
Right. That's beautiful. Well, hearing that from you and from your other sister queens in the pageant, that's not a feel-good moment for me, because it's never something beautiful to rejoice in someone else's pain.
Yeah.
But what's beautiful is looking at you young ladies give yourselves permission to become vulnerable, to bear yourselves naked. And I think that's what we've been asking for our girls. And so if you notice, and I'm happy we have an opportunity today on this live to share with the public that COVID did not really ask us to do anything differently, because we've been operating differently even before the pandemic came. And that's just authentically and very naturally who we are. That's part of the DNA of Miss Supranational. What we do, and everybody bounces around this holistic word, or we're all about holistic formation and holistic training.
Yeah.
But I always say to our committee, we have to be able to walk what we're talking. And so part of walking that talk is stripping away of the makeup, stripping away of the hair, and looking at the bare essentials. Because ideally, when you enter into a system that is built to prod and to pry and to dig up, you have to be able, as a young woman, in a particular space that could become very nasty, you have to be able to stand your ground, and to stand your ground without saying what my director said. I don't want to hear your director said. I want to hear that the little girl from Tobago, that she has an opinion, she has a position, She has a morale about her. She's guided by her own sense of ethics. You
She stands
understand?
in her own truth, yeah.
Absolutely. And so there is no crown, there is no title, there is no stage, no beautiful gown that can do that for you. Those things really are embellishments.
Mm-hmm.
So when I tell people, when they ask me, well, what are you looking for in a delegate? Well, here's what we're looking for. We're looking for the raw person that allows us to accompany her on a transformative journey.
That's it.
And what you are doing today, and I've asked you and your sister delegates to come to this live, not all dollsed up. I mean, we haven't had an opportunity to get together to do all of our glam things. And those things are beautiful. It's important because it adds to your self-confidence. It makes you feel good.
Yeah.
But when COVID says you have to keep your tail put and you can't go to the barber, I mean, case in point. You know, what are you left with?
Yeah.
Well, what we're left with is our character and our sense of self. And I really trust that you would continue as you go on in the competition, continue to give yourself permission to lean in to what the journey is going to afford you.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have some questions from a secret admirer.
Oh my. Sure.
It's nothing too intrusive, don't worry. But it's just some questions from some people that you may or may not know. So here goes. Are you ready?
Yes.
So this person wants to know, when is Moesha at her best?
When am I at my best? Wow.
Girl, I'm gonna run out of tea.
Honestly, when I'm with my family, like I have two moments, to be honest. When I'm with my family or when I'm dancing. For some strange reason, when I'm dancing, I become me. It's a whole different person on stage. It's like I transform into who I have in my mind. So it's like she unleashes, she becomes, like she's there. It's
okay,
this
Michelle
exciting,
Obama.
have a Sasha Fierce kind of moment. Like,
yes.
It comes out. And then when I'm with my family, there's this, I don't know how to describe it with the words because I do not think words can just like put justice to it, but something about when I'm with my dad and my mom and my sisters, because we all live together, there's this love, this kind of peace, this kind of tranquil kind of thing, and it just brings in like this inner smile, this inner happiness. I don't know if it's gratitude. I think it's probably gratitude. But when I'm with them, I feel this kind of comfort and safety and tranquil that doesn't exist anywhere else. No matter where I go, it doesn't exist anywhere else. So I think those two moments are when I'm at my best.
Beautiful. Great. So thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad. Wonderful. Ready? Let's go. Next question.
Sure.
So we are living through a global pandemic. And very soon, please God, we are going to be living in what we call a post-pandemic era.
Understand.
Do you think that beauty pageantry is relevant now more than ever?
Definitely. For me, with the beauty pageants, what people see, as we mentioned before, they see the glitz, they see the glamour. They don't see what happens behind those curtains when the day comes, what we have to go through. Yeah. You go through extensive training that aids you in to become a better person. And even though we're going through a pandemic, we're still allowed to have these luxuries. So we still have our training sessions. We still have the ability to reach out to you, to reach out to the committees, to reach out to the franchise by extension. We can still have those things. But what I think we need to also reevaluate now is how do we shed light on the pageantry world from a different perspective, instead of showing you the glitz and the glamour and we need to show you why it's relevant, because the fact that if you question it, not you, but whosoever is questioning it, it's in their mind, because they just see this and the heels and that. But what they need to see is what happens behind the curtains, the kind of training we go through, the business aspect of it, in terms of the different sessions that we may have to give us some sort of background knowledge, or give us some sort of informative sessions on what we can apply regardless of this pageant, because we're not all going to come first, we're not all going to place, but the things that we learn, the qualities that we get to apply in real life. I know how to start a business because of a session that we recently had. I just got some great ideas. So it's definitely going to be important. It shouldn't be dismissed.
So you think it's possible, and you think that in a time like this, it's still relevant?
It's still relevant because it's going to bring hope and light on different things. Because we're focusing a lot on the pandemic, which is understandable. Like, people are worried, people are uncertain. We don't know I don't know what's going to happen next. Guys, I just finished my degree. Where am I going?
Where, girl?
I had plans. They're cancelled. So we now have a scenario where it forces you to look at different things that are available to you. And once we are able to provide pageantry and provide Supra as well to the world from a different limelight compared to the other pageants, I think we'll be able to have an advantage. So yes, it's still relevant.
Fabulous, fabulous. So the world is made up of, this sounds like a question that I would ask. The world is made up of all kinds of people, right?
Correct.
You have the optimists and you have the pessimists. You have those who are in the front with pom-poms and zuzuvelas and they're screaming your name. And then there are those who are the silent critics. What would Moesha say to him or to her who does not believe that beauty pageantry, whether for women or for men, are any good?
Sorry, I didn't get that last part.
What do you say to people who do not believe in beauty pageantry?
It would have to be on their perspective, because what you believe is based on what you know. I would now have to educate you to give you other things to add more to that knowledge base that you already have. Because I know of persons, initially when I did Miss Heritage Personality, my dad, this is hitting home. My dad thought it was just a beauty pageant. You just go in, put on a dress, walk on the stage, twirl, and that's it. Like, initially, that's what he thought. So he was confused when he heard I had training 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week, because sometimes we never had weekends off. And why is it that they need to take me from work to go to this session and go to this and go to that? Because he was unaware. He did not have the understanding as to what actually exists. So me now, I had to explain to him, well, Dad, I have a business session. They're going to teach me on how to multiply my assets. They're going to teach me how to invest. They're teaching me more about Tobago's, not about Tobago's heritage, Tobago's history. These are different things that I'm learning, and I came home and I was able to educate him on things he was unaware of. I discovered things about my village that I was unaware of because of the process. So someone who is saying, well, you know, it's not that relevant, so why should it exist, or something like that, which is understandable, is because you're unaware of the different aspects and different components that make a beauty pageant, or make a delegate, or that makes a queen. So what we need to do is, in my opinion, I think what we could do is try to highlight what happens behind the curtain again.
I like how you keep very subtly, sorry to cut you, but you keep subtly saying that behind the curtain, and I feel that's going to become a hashtag for Supra. Yes. I feel I'm gonna throw that out to our creative team, that hashtag behind the curtain can actually become a thing. I'll give you credit for that.
No, it's a thing because people don't understand, of course, but people don't understand that there's so many persons and so many things that make up what we look at in the final stages. So it's like so many tiers going into it. And I'm not just talking about the delegates. We have suppliers, we have investors, we have so many different aspects that play into the final product. So that's what am saying that, you know, we need to go behind the curtain so they can see the production that takes place to provide or to present to persons the final solution. That's what they need to see, and they'll then be able to appreciate. You can't appreciate something you're unaware of, that you have no knowledge about, or you're uncertain about. You need clarity. And I think we could be able to provide that. If we have like pre-tapings and pre-recordings, not a reality show, God no, but pre-tapings and pre-recordings to show you all, well, okay, this is what production looks like, and this is who makes the gongs, and this is who's in charge of lights, and this is how they contribute, and this is how we contribute to them, and how they contribute to us. We need to be able to highlight those different things so persons can truly appreciate what happens with pageantry.
Right. Good. Thank you for that wonderful answer. Okay, so we have another question here. So you know that you know X Factor.
Yes.
And America's Next Top Model and all of those mega entertainment reality shows. And in all of those, there is that, apart from the talent and the skill and the gifts that you bring to the stage, there is that one thing, and we call it the it factor. What is Moesha's super factor?
I love that, the super factor. I love that. For me, we all have very common traits. Being able to even be here with all the delegates, we all have these common traits, but we all have something that makes us unique.
Yeah.
Me not just being from Tobago is something unique in itself, but what Tobago has taught me, what I've learned from being a Tobagonian, our history, our heritage, these are the different things that I'm being able to bring. Being able to be the channel that is able to translate our culture to a bigger stage. I think that's the it thing. Yeah.
Nice. That's good. It's good. So I have some news for you. I don't know, and this is probably going to be news for some of our Facebook friends and followers. I woke up to some really good news this morning from Poland, from our international president, and from the team. Is your heart okay?
A little bit, sorry. Excited.
So we've been, the Supra family, we've been spending some time really trying to tease out, so to speak, what's the Miss Supranational identity? Who is that woman? What does she stand for? What does she represent? And what are some of the things that, in the context of a production and of a competition, we really want her to fully grasp? Well, the president, Gerard von Lipinski, officially launched today the competition's Community Service Initiative. It's the CSI, and it's called From the Ground Up.
From the ground
up, really at its core, its essence, it really speaks to the grassroots movement in each of the delegates' home community. And we are not dictating what that grassroots movement is. So let me just explain a little bit to our viewers. A lot of times we glorify charity. And there are so many organizations who do such tremendous work, and we can name them, but there are also communities and the people in those communities who never get an opportunity to experience the kindness and the love of a few good men because they're not known. They're not common, and maybe what they live and they struggle with is still taboo. And those are the types of service projects that the Supra family across the world would like to give some light to this year and onward. And so it's called From the Ground Up. It's a time where our beauty queens and our beauty kings really get their hands dirty and journey with and accompany and not just raise awareness, but become actively involved in the life of the few so that the few can impact the many.
I love that initiative.
So I know that you have something up your sleeves that you want to share with your people with regard to your social responsibility project. Tell your peeps about it. Tell us about what's happening in Tobago.
Okay, so I've decided to create an organization, a non-profit organization that is, called Au Natural. And what we have now, seeing that I've established the name and the content that I want to produce, we're now going to look at the natural cycle. So Au Natural, the natural cycle. We have 5 steps that we want to execute in order for it to be genuinely successful. We have the first step being securing a location. The second step, finding the support that we need. Third step is finding suppliers. Our fourth step is getting investors, and then we want to do an official launch. So with regards to give more insight into those steps, with regards to finding the location, is being able to find a location that is best suitable right now to start up from the ground. So having an area that we can more focus on and dedicate our time to, and then grow and expand as time goes along. From there, we want to have support. So in each area, we want to have persons who are genuinely interested in providing their services to the young girls, as well as to the company itself. So how we're going to do this is have persons offer their different services, whether it be hair products, whether they offer to be a hairdresser, to be able to provide products from their garden. So anything along that line, once they could give that support, that is what we're going to consider. Then we want to have suppliers. These are persons who would be able to provide the products from their home. So you may have products that you can give to young girls to take care of their hair, or you can even take your personal money and purchase these items for these young girls so they'll be able to have these products at home. And we also want to have investments. When I said investment, I was more looking at the financial aspect of it for persons who are willing, only if you're willing and open-minded, to supporting the cause and financing or funding to a certain extent, so we'll be able to have different manufacturers and stuff in it. So I was looking at, for example, I don't want to call anyone right now because we're still in the works and we have contracts in the mingle right now. But let's call it Company Apple.
Right.
Company Apple, to see if they would be willing to provide their products for us so we can now give it to a charitable cause, which would be Au Natural. And then we have the official launch where we highlight everything that would have been done, the process from beginning to the end. And we would do it in every single area so persons can see for themselves that they have visibility and clarity on what we would have done. So that's the process.
So this sounds to me as though this is something personal to you.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's because I know with the help of your business coaches here at Supra and with the team that you are working with at home, it's going to be a bomb diggity project. But I know that this is something personal to you, as is every other delegate's personal project that she has either been influenced by, affected by, or is starting up on her own for the first time. Why is this so meaningful to you? Why is this Au Natural so meaningful to you?
The reason why I wanted to do this is to show true beauty. People think that you're born beautiful, but they don't know that you become it, right? So the reason why I chose that slogan and the reason why it's so dear-hearted to me is because of what I would have gone through as a kid growing up. I have my natural hair, as you can see here, And it was hard for me because one, my mom was unable to really take care of it how it was supposed to be taken care of. She did it as best as she can. Mm-hmm. And then it was hard growing up when you see all these girls with very straight hair or different hair compared to yours, and it's classified as being good hair.
Right.
When in fact you get to find out good hair is actually healthy hair. And I wanted other young girls to not go through that struggle, to not go through the bullying of being called nappy or being called out on the type or quality hair that you have. I wanted girls to have the opportunity to accept themselves without having the validation of outside. If you are able to treat your hair, if you're able to come to terms with what you have and accept yourself, then there's no doubt that no one else outside of that spectrum can tell you anything. So I really was pushing for that initiative to show them that it goes more than what you have on the outside, but more on the inside, that validation.
Sure. So this is really about being able to celebrate, helping people through empowerment to celebrate all that is naturally gifted to them. Yeah?
I'm sorry, can you please repeat that?
I'm hearing that this project is really about empowering young women to celebrate all that is natural to them.
Yes, and we instill in it from a very young age.
Right, fantastic. And what's your foresight in terms of the type of impact that a project like this could possibly have, not only in your community in Tobago, but across the island of Trinidad and Tobago, and maybe throughout the region, maybe throughout the world?
So what I think, in terms of the impact, I think it could be very large scale, but I intend for it to grow organically. So we start locally. So we start locally and then branch off to Trinidad, because I wanted to focus on home first and then extend it to Trinidad. And then we extend throughout the region, and from there grow internationally, because we need girls to understand that natural hair is okay. It's not a choice, it's what you have, it's okay.
Yeah, of course. And we're seeing a lot more of it. We're seeing a lot more of fashion brands and makeup brands and beauty pageants celebrating the melanin, the goddesses, the black skin beauties. I mean, we've seen it last year. I think we had 4 or 5 Afro women becoming title holders in their pageants.
Yes.
So, and I was really humbled when I saw Miss Nigeria's response at last year's Miss World when Jamaica won. And she erupted. And I was like, I want to rent you as a friend for 1 year. I want to rent you alone as my friend, because that's the kind of support I want in my life.
Yeah.
But I listened to her interview, you know, like when you pull away the production tapes, I listened to her interview and I heard her say that it was throughout one of her fast track competitions, and I think the weave or the wig that she was wearing, it came off and she was like, you know what, I am just gonna rock my natural hair. And I was like, yes, girl, theater clap to you.
Yeah.
And it's one of the beautiful things about Miss Supranational. I mean, it's one of the attractive things for me coming into the family is that Supra allows you to celebrate all that you are. All that you are.
So true.
So good, so good. So we are just at the tail end. Just for any one of you who may have just been joining us for the first time on this live, this is your Miss Supranational Trinidad and Tobago National Director, and I'm chatting with the beautiful Moesha Bruce, our representative from the sister island of Tobago, and we're just having a little sit down with you to kind of do some digging into her emotional and intellectual self to see what makes this girl tick and what makes her your favorite for the crown of Miss Supranational Trinidad and Tobago. So Mo, where can your fans find you? Where can they connect with you? Where can they reach out to help support Au Natural, your community project?
Well, I'm reachable both on Instagram and Facebook officially. using the handle m.bruce_MSTT finalist 2020.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Right, and we could drop that that handle down below in the links.
Great.
So you can follow, and you can also follow us at Miss Supranational TT on any of our social media platforms: YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and right here on Facebook. You could slide us into our DMs and you could share the love. And there are many ways that you could support the work, the charism, the movement of what it means to be Supra. You too can become part of the Supra family. Moesha, thank you so very much, my love, for spending some time with us and for sharing your Tobago hospitality.
No problem.
I cannot wait for us to meet in person.
It's going to be so great. I can feel it already.
It's going to be zero behavior. I can sense it in my spirit. But I do know that we both and all of us who are part of the Supra family, we are committed to fighting COVID-19, and we will do so by means of staying at home when it is necessary to stay at home, for practicing social distancing, making sure that we practice daily in our own respective spaces, good hygiene practices, and not only for ourselves, but to encourage others to continue to do the same. Respect the authorities, be patient with the process, be patient with yourselves, because we know how difficult it is. We've been living it together, but we promise you that we are going to come out at the other end of this tunnel alive and together. So that's all from us. Mo, we love you very much.
Love you too.
Say hi to your family for us. And
definitely.
We will catch up soon. So all the very best in the rest of your training and in your other challenges.
Thank you very much.
Keep your head up and rock your own natural.
But of course.
Nice. So guys, that's it from me. Signing out for now, but don't forget, stay connected and let's do this together. Ciao.